And it's just basketball. At the end of the day, it's just basketball.
Like and subscribe. Like and subscribe. Like and subscribe on the way in the door, my people. I hope you all are having a truly fantastic day today. Today, let's get to these super thanks from last week. And as always, thank everyone who supports the channel. Thank everyone who supports all of the channels who give you honest takes and honest opinions. And without further ado, let's go ahead and get into this. And as always, the title of the video comes from one of the questions from the super thanks. Shout out to Snug Chamberlain. We'll get to that. But first up, shout out to @SwanDaily with the $2 super thanks. He says, now you're making video series about historical topics such as the 1991 finals. I'm curious if you've seen Magic and Bird, A Courtship of Rivals. I just watched it this weekend and it was great. If you've seen it, what's your take on it? Though the Magic and Bird rivalry was before my time, I always found it so fascinating. It's a shame that Jordan was so dominant in the 90s. And then after that, there wasn't a rivalry of that magnitude. A rivalry of that extent in the modern NBA would be so interesting. Shout out to @SwanDaily. So no, I haven't seen that series, but since you brought it up, I'm going to put it on my list and I will eventually get to it and make some videos from it. But yeah, you know, I feel like we've passed the time because of how the NBA is set up now. We've kind of passed the time of serious rivalries like that. You know, I feel like today you might have some mini rivalries, but like a serious rivalry that really has everyone captivated. I think we're past that just because of how the NBA is set up. I think because of, you know, players being able to team hop so frequently and things of that nature, you know, we're not likely. And then just the competitiveness in general of the NBA being so watered down because everyone is focused on money nowadays that I really don't think we're going to see, you know, a rivalry of that extent for quite some time. You know, it'll be curious, but I really don't think that's going to be the case. But anyway, shout out to @SwanDaily with the $2 super thanks. You are greatly appreciated. Next up, shout out to @GreatJuice83 with the $5 super thanks. He says, thanks for making a channel like this. We need more and more truthful takes about LeBron. Now that that's out the way, the media will never talk about the 91 Bulls championship where Pippen wasn't an all-star. Only 90 and 92. Pippen was an all-star. It doesn't fit their narrative. Plus, I think Dirk was another one who won a championship with no other all-star, who beat 3 all-stars on one team, including LeBron James. Shout out to @GreatJuice83. Great points. Yeah, I'm pretty sure you're correct on that. Pippen wasn't an all-star in 91. I need to go back and check that. But yeah, and then, you know, bringing up the whole 2011 with Dirk again, this is another reason why it just makes that failure so monumental for LeBron James. You know, media talks about it as if he's made up for that failure. If I'm being honest, I don't know if that's a failure you can make up for. Again, Dirk Nowitzki having no other superstars, beating a super team. And again, I've brought this up on another one of my videos. Those Dallas Mavericks were the second oldest team to win a championship as well. The second oldest team to win a championship. And again, they did this against a LeBron James who was trying to stack the deck, and not only trying to stack the deck, they were cocky about it. So they got everything that they deserved in that series. And so, yeah, you know, again, the media doesn't like talking about these kind of things. And I guarantee you they will never bring this up, which is ironic because they're supposed to be the experts. They're supposed to be the experts on the game. But they would never mention these type of things. But shout out to @GreatJuice83 with the $5 super thanks. Thank you so much. You are greatly appreciated. And next up, shout out to QQ10 with the $10 super thanks. This is coming from my LeBron James Rewriting History and Standards video. And he just simply says, thanks as always. Shout out to @QQ10. Thank you so much. I really cannot express my appreciation enough for your constant support of the channel. Thank you again for the $10 super thanks. And last but not least, as always, we have at Snug Chamberlain 9986 with the $2 super thanks. He says, thanks. Shout out to you, Angry Old Hoops and Sports and Fitness Ranch. You guys are the real deal. I've got 3 questions I'd like to get your opinion on. The biggest MJ ovation we've heard, no doubt, was in Cleveland at the 75th Players Anniversary. But what if I told you it was an ovation even bigger, and that was the 2003 NBA All-Star Game, where MJ's last All-Star game on the farewell tour, and he hit an amazing, if not greatest shot I've seen in an All-Star game, which was the fadeaway rainbow shot falling out of bounds over Sean Marion. And MJ fell into the crowd. The crowd had to push him back into the game. Kobe, being ultra competitive, couldn't let MJ have the moment or the game. He drew a foul on Jermaine O'Neal for the 3. So did you see the game? What did you think about the game? And what did you think about Kobe? Should he have got that call? What do you think about the ovation after the shot, if you've seen it? Yeah, I did see that game. Now, I would need to go back to refresh my memory, but I will say, I think that call Kobe got at the end of the game wasn't a valid call. And I think Kobe knows it wasn't a valid call. If you look at Kobe's face after he got that call, he looked like someone who had just got bailed out. And again, I'll be honest, at the time I felt like, man, Kobe should have let MJ have his moment. But at the same time, I don't know. I think MJ respected the fact that Kobe wouldn't let him have that moment. I think that's what made Kobe Kobe. It's like, you got to earn everything. I'm not going to give it to you. And if I can steal the game away, I'm going to do that. And again, I think it's still because of that big brother, little brother relationship. Is Kobe always had this need to try and prove something to MJ. So yeah, I think MJ respected Kobe for that, but because he knows that's who Kobe is. As far as the ovation, I don't remember quite how loud it was in comparison to the 75th anniversary. So I would have to go back and watch it. But I absolutely remember that shot over Sean Marion. And again, it's always amazing to see because, again, MJ just made the hardest shots look easy. And they were easy for him because it was just something that he's worked on so much. And because he had that, it's even more with MJ. I think it's even more than not being afraid of the moment. I think it's the fact that MJ actually lived for those moments. I think it's more than not just being afraid in the moment. I think it's more to that with MJ is he actually lived for those moments. He actually thrived in those moments. He actually wanted those moments. So yeah, him hitting that shot, it was great to see because MJ was older. You could tell he wasn't getting the same kind of lift on his jumper, which is why he had to fade so hard on Sean Marion. But again, it was a great shot. But for people who follow MJ, great shots are no surprise. That's the funny thing. For people that follow MJ, we are spoiled in the fact that great shots from MJ are expected. Like, that's what we come to expect from him. And it's like, MJ was around 50% in the clutch. But for us fans, it felt rare when he missed. Even though 50%, which is, maybe the best clutch stats for a jump shooter in the history of the game, even though that's 1 out of 2, for those who follow MJ, anytime he missed, it felt like a rarity. Because it felt like you expected it to go in every time he took a shot. So, but yeah, Let's move on to the next one. So his next thing, he says, George Karl and Jeff Van Gundy are known coaches to go after MJ in the press. Karl saying that all MJ does is shoot jumpers, and Van Gundy called MJ a con man. So my question, what do you think George Karl was trying to do exactly? We know it failed miserably, but do you think he was trying to create a tactic so that MJ would drive the ball more because he was so lethal with his jump shot? Do you think he was trying to get into MJ's head somehow? Ultimately, his players paid the price due to MJ, but what do you think? Being called a con man as an ultra competitor, do you think that a statement like that takes a stab at the way you approach the game? So I'll go ahead and address the last question first. Well, first of all, me personally, I don't know if it would be a stab at me as a competitor. But as far as MJ is concerned, we know that he took everything personally. So, for a coach back then, when MJ was at the height of his powers, everybody knew it. I'm not sure what his intent was on making that statement in the media. I'm really not sure what his intent was. I'm not sure if that was just the competitor in him doing a little trash talking, because I feel like at that point it was known that you couldn't get into MJ's head like that. Like it was a known thing that MJ was an unshakable force, and it was known that more than anything, saying the wrong thing would actually make him better. So I really can't figure out what Jeff Van Gundy's what he was trying to do making a statement like that in the media. But, obviously it backfired just like any other time you try to trash talk MJ. And as far as George Karl, I kind of thought when he made that statement that he was trying to bait Michael Jordan into driving more. And again, this is kind of the beauty of Michael Jordan's second three-peat, because we saw his game evolve to something different. And again, to me, this is, a testament to how Michael Jordan continued to improve, continued to think the game, continued to understand that, hey, his athleticism is slowing down, and he's going to have to find other ways to be more effective. Whereas, like I said, during the first three-peat, he seemed to be on a mission to prove everyone wrong, that anything you say I can't do, I can do it. Again, in the 1991 finals, he averaged 11 assists. It's one less than Magic Johnson in that final series. 1992, he was set the records for 3-pointers and a half against the Blazers because of the statement that was made about him not being a good three-point shooter compared to Clyde Drexler. And then in the 93 finals, he averages over 40 points a game against the MVP Charles Barkley. So during that first three-peat, MJ not only had the athleticism and motor that never turned off, so I think he was on a mission to prove anything that you think I can't do, I'm gonna do it. Now by the second three-peat, I think he had matured more, because understanding that his athleticism was slowing down, he matured into this place that, hey, I don't have to prove anything. I'm gonna just take what you give me. If you clog up the paint, I'm gonna kill you from the mid-range. It's just that simple. I don't have to prove anything anymore. Like, all facets of my game are complete. I can get it done in any way. So I'm gonna make the game as easy as possible. You don't want to give me the lane? Cool. I'll take the jumper. No problem. You want to press up on me in the mid-range? Cool. Then I'll blow by you and I'll take the layup. But I think his game had matured by then, and I think he didn't have anything else to prove by then, really, as far as skill-wise. He had proved that he could do everything, offensively and defensively. So he didn't have anything else to prove, so he got to the point to where he was just making the game as easy as possible, and that's, hey, I'll take whatever you give me. I don't have to force the issue in any particular way. And last but not least, he says the famous flu game in 1997 where MJ led the way with 37 points in a playoff game en route to his 5th championship and finals MVP. Is it safe to say the players of today, especially LeBron James, would never, yes, it's safe to say LeBron James would never. Is it safe to say the players of today, especially LeBron James, would never play in a game like that when the stakes are high if they are feeling sick? Do you think they still play or duck the competition? I'm talking about the players of today. LeBron James lies and sits out anyway, so I know he would definitely sit out a major playoff game like so, but that's just another testament to the will of MJ to find a way to get it done when the stakes are high and being sick and still giving maximum effort. So what do you think about the players of today ever having a flu game? Will we ever see another? Well, did you forget? We saw Austin Reeves. Isn't that the guy who didn't LeBron James try to compare Austin Reeves' flu game with something to MJ? But anyway, the answer is absolutely not. And I'll tell you why. Again, because these players are not playing for a cause that's greater than themselves. Like, they're playing for the money and the fame, and the money comes first. So everything they do, I mean, these players, you know, are basically trying to figure out a way to get as much money as possible, doing as least work as possible. You know, back in the days of MJ and before, players were playing for something greater than themselves. Michael Jordan was playing for something greater than himself. Again, he said, "Be true to the game, and the game will be true to you." And that you know, to me, that's just a testament to Michael Jordan's true love for the game of basketball and really feeling like you can't cheat the game. It's not about the money. It's not about the money. And ironically, because Michael Jordan was true to the game, because he didn't cheat the game, like, the money came. But it wasn't about the money for these players. It was greater than that. It was about staying true to the competition and not cheating the game and truly going out there and giving your all, and about being a good leader. Again, the flu game is not only a testament to Michael Jordan's will for himself, but it's also a testament to his leadership, because he said in The Last Dance, he said, you know, I felt like if I didn't play or if I gave up, then the team would give up. And, you know, I didn't want the team to give up, understanding that, hey, he's still setting the example for his teammates to, like, look, even when you're sick, you got to be able to play through it. You got to be able to dig deep somewhere and find something that you might not think you have to be able to get the job done. Again, you know, something that I say LeBron James fans, but really to me, a lot of the fans of the modern NBA don't have a concept of this. They think they do, because you only know what you're exposed to. So if you grew up, you know, in this modern NBA, if you were born in the early 2000s, you know, this is all you know. So this is all you really have to compare it to. So in some ways, it's understandable that these younger kids don't have a concept for that, because this is all they know. So they truly believe that the current generation is competitive, you know, and they believe it when these players say stuff like, "Oh, well, you have to cut my head off, bury me 12 feet deep before I ever quit." You know, they believe it when players say stuff like this, because they don't really have a reference point to compare it to. But it's like, you know, if you grew up in the 90s, you know what it was like to see a player really out there just giving his all. Again, the thing about MJ, not only did he raise the level of his teammates, but he raised the level of the league in general. Again, when you would see players play against MJ, he would bring performances out of players that you would not see when they played against any other player. John Starks, Joe Dumars, you know, Kevin Johnson. You would see players do things and play in a way that they would not play against any other player, because they understood that, hey, I have to dig deep and find something else, find something inside of me that I didn't know exists to even have a chance of playing against this guy. But anyway, we gonna hold up here. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Shout out again to @SnugChamberlain9986. Thank you for your continued support. Thank everyone who continues to watch the channel and share the videos, like the content, subscribe. You all are greatly, truly appreciated. Let me know what you think in the comments about any of the topics that we've talked about today. And I'll see you next time. All right.